Okay, God. Okay, let's talk about reading books, right? So, a lot of, I tend to, I'm gonna make this video right now because, let me get this straight. Let me put out this for you. A lot of us, or a lot of people believe that, a lot of people, so today's topic is about reading, right? I get bashed on a lot on reading, these type of books. Well, except for the Hunger Game. There's a reason why I have the Hunger Game in here. These books, well, I have books, I'm talking books over there. Now, most people bash on people reading on books. Let me tell you. Those people who bash on reading books, they don't understand what they're talking about. And I will dissect and I will tell you on both sides, because I do read books on novels, not all the time. I read more personal self-help, stuff that make you grow. Now, people who don't understand why you should read, if you live in a world where everything is being obsoleted, your knowledge, the technology, when it come out, it's already obsoleted, but you probably don't know that, right? So here's people saying, oh, a book costs too much, I don't have that kind of money, yet you spend on dumb stuff, you invest or you put in all your money. Look, it's your money, however you choose to use your money, that's your money. But I tell you this, if you're, I think that school, it's not enough, There's a reason why I like reading and why it, reading changed my life, I hear people, it's like, it's expensive, the author he or she just want to make money off of you, and you get nothing. But that's your mentality of reading, right? But you don't think it as investing in yourself. Instead, what you do is you invest in, dumb stuff that loses value over time. And that's what people don't understand. So there's books on personal development, why I believe that it's great to read books. And, I was listening to a girl on YouTube, and she was into novel, and she said books can't change your life. That's because she's referring to novels. Of course books can't change your life if you're reading novel. It can be, if you actually get value, but they're more like entertainment. They give you pleasure. It's for your pleasure only. But that to say, let me ask you, they say that people who are, let's say people who graduate high school, they stop reading, or people who go to college, they stop giving themselves, they give them permission to stop reading because it was pressure, I believe that the school system is outdated, the knowledge is outdated, and a lot of us believe that, going to school for a certain number of years, you will become successful or you will be very educated. But no, the world that we're living in is very rapidly changing, the world that the baby boomers were in, we no longer are in the baby boom, where they have the industrial age, where they have laborers. But we live in a society where it's very knowledge based, People are accumulating knowledge, but the problem is people in their mind, they don't want to move out their comfort zone, That's why I get attacked a lot. Look, I tell people this. I don't have a certain modality, I don't have a certain learning method. I can watch a YouTube and I still learn the best, People ask me what style do I learn, I learn any type, audio, visual, kinesthetic. I use both. We live in a world that's so narrow-minded, scarcity mentality, There's abundance of information and yet we not getting where we wanted to do. You know why? Because closed-minded is, I prefer as scarcity mentality, while open-minded is abundance mentality. And people always so negative to, oh, the author is just getting money. How do you know? You never open a book and actually read the book. You know, for instance, and my favorite guy named Jim Rohn, you know, he said the cost of the book, you know, and of not buying the book, you know, could be detrimental to your future. He didn't say exactly like that, but it's a cost, because most people don't get ahead in their life, you know, because the knowledge that you have accumulated over your lifetime in school, college, whatever, it's being obsoleted to faster now. It used to be 2 or 3. But I listened to a talk of Brian Tracy. It's faster now, and that, you know, to keep up with your current knowledge, you have to read. You know, the average CEO read about, you know, 50 books per year. Brian Tracy said 50 books per year equals a PhD. You know, many people, you know, the reason why I read books, and it's not just to accumulate more knowledge, but to have a very large knowledge base. You know, the one who have a large knowledge base has pattern recognition coupled with experience. See, most people try to have experience all themselves, but I rather have you have, because I told myself that a long time ago when I was a kid, I wanted more experience, because I told myself, I was like, why am I not getting ahead? And I told myself, I want experience. You may have all the experience, you know, but what if those experiences cost you? What if those experience is no more longer usable in this modern era, this rapidly changing world, you know? And the reason why I say, you know, books can change your life. It changed my life, okay? And let me tell you why it changed my life. It changed my life to the degree that I cannot even fathom that the thing that I never thought I knew that I would be able to do. Let me tell you. I developed my vocabulary skill. I developed big words, vocabulary skills like paradigm, you know, stuff like that, sophisticated. That the thing that I never would have done. You know why? Because I hated English. Now, English is not my second language, but I sound like it's really, you know, my first, right? I mean, my first language. That's what I meant. But here's the thing that you probably don't understand about reading books. When you read books, let's say, and on any subject, see, on any subject, for instance, let's say you read books on the brain, you know, the reason why I read books on, you know, psychology and the brain, because here's the thing, when I was in special education, they said that I have a learning disability, but when I dived deep and found out that our human brain is very amazing, that, you know, they have, you know, neurons, and there's a thing, what was it called? Myelin. You know, once you understand the neurons and myelins, and that our brains is malleable, that it can learn and reprogram itself, you know, and you have 3 parts of your brain. You know, the brain stem cell, the limbic system, which they call it the emotional brain, and the neocortex. You know, have 2 halves. You know, the left and the right, and they have the connecting link, the fiber, that communicate between the 2 brains. And we have 100 brain cells. Yet we were never taught how to use these brain cells to our advantage. We never understand that we can develop short-term, where we can take short-term memory to long-term memory. You know, that's why people try to cram, but it doesn't work. It only costs short-term memory. But if you want to understand how to work your mind, and if you become aware that you can change, you change. If you become self-aware, you change. Now, most people, okay, for instance, you say books don't have value. How you know that? You know, I believe books have value. You know why? Because it gives you an edge over someone who doesn't have that. You know, someone may have years of experience, but, you know, I remember I was watching Brian Tracy, and Brian Tracy said that he was in sales. Now, I'm not, you know, into don't remember a whole lot of things, but he was in cell and he wanted to learn. He was in cell. Now, here's the thing. When he was in cells, that he looked at that guy, the top guy, and he was asking, why is he was doing little, but he was making more money than he is. And he started to ask him, because nobody asked the top guy for his advice. So he come there and he asked the top guy what to do. So what happened is, Brian Tracy started to learn about selling. He started reading books. He started learning, listening to audio. He started to go to summer intent, and then he passed that guy. And what he learned is that he was the person who learned from multiple sources, not just from one person, will become superior to the one person who only will learn from one sources. Eclectic. So many of us are, I feel still that people are still in this mode of thinking, you know. I told my friend, which I hope he doesn't mind telling him, that you know, he believed that in order to read slowly, you know, there is a thing that's called speed reading, you know. Of course I have books on speed reading because I want to know how to read. But the reason that is because I was pissed at reading like a whole book, right, and not getting anything out of it, and I don't remember, and I just want to finish the book so I can brag, but I don't do that anymore. And here's the thing. What a lot of you guys believe that, you know, in order, you know, I remember there was a guy who I talked to too. He believed that in order to understand, to comprehend, to read it slowly, but your brain doesn't work like that. You know, your brain is very intelligent. It's very smart in a way. It can read a sentence very fast and you will understand it. You know, maybe if it's difficult, of course, if you read difficult book, it will be difficult. But it shouldn't be like that. You know, I used to think like that. You know, I used to think that. Oh, I remember back in college days. You know, I remember back when I was in college, and I was reading. I told one of my classmates or my peers, whatever, that I need to read slowly so I can understand. Boy, I was wrong. So when I read these books, it starts to change how I do things. It starts to change my thought process, my habits, my way of life, my way of speaking to the world, my way of expressing myself, you know. Now, I understand that, you know, Brian Tracy taught me that, you know, if you read the whole book and you can't get out, that's just wasting your time. That's an opportunity because which you could get something out of it. You know, he said that just, you know, for what I do is I choose a chapter that I'm interested in reading. I read it and I remember it. But not only I remember that, I try it. Most of us are just, you know, in the motion of reading but never actually take that knowledge and apply it and to test it out and experiment. I remember I was watching Brian Tracy. He did the same thing. He read the book. He tried one time, but he said it didn't work. You know, he said most of the I did doesn't work the first time. So he said he tried 20 times. So that's what you have to do, you know. And I believe books have value. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because if I didn't read books, I wouldn't understand how human being works, you know. If you were saying, why he always talking about himself and he never talk about me? You know, I never get to talk about me. Well, there's an interesting topic. Human beings are very, if you look on people, you know, Instagram, you know, if they take a lot of pictures about themselves, they're very into themselves. Sometimes you could say they're narcissists. Maybe not, but I'm not saying. You know, I used to be like that when I was a kid. I used to take pictures of myself a lot. And that people, if you understand how people are interested in themselves. People like to talk about themselves. So if you didn't read, you wouldn't be able to become aware. Just for instance, if, you know, people believe that when you get older, your brain cells start to die, but when you start to read and this destroy the myth that was in your brain, then you become aware that you can change and mold your thought process, your brain cells. See, that's why reading is effective, because I remember whether you hate him or like him, Ty Lopez was talking about the more you read, the more it grows. I believe that to be true. It takes time, and I know people don't like, people tell me they don't have time to read. Look, it's whether you don't have time to read or not, you make the time. If you want to get ahead in your life or personal life or whatever, if you want things to be better, And, when I was a kid, I thought I was dumb and making a lot of mistakes. But it wasn't until I realized when I hit my 20s that reading is the way to become successful. And that's why school is ineffective. It's teaching how kids to read and developing bad habits. A lot of kids, they don't care about school. They think, maybe some kids, some kids care about school. But the one who don't is ineffective. All kids really want to do is have fun and play. I remember I did too. Well, actually I did the opposite of people, but that's besides the point. That's why if you're going to come at me about, I need more experience, I tried that, but it was my downfall. You see, and then also you said, I have a different learning style. Okay, that's fine. If you're in your auditory, then use audio, if you don't like it. And if you're visual, use visual videos, don't make it complicated. If you like kinesthetic, then go to a seminar where they have hands-on or something, be flexible. Don't be inside the box. Try to be outside, step out. A lot of people are still stuck, So that's my rant for reading, because a lot of people bash on me with books. It changed my life. It changed who I was. And I'm actually grateful for these books. If it wasn't for these books, I was still thinking the same thoughts. I would still be a victim. Maybe a lot of people are still a victim, even if they read self-help books. These self-help books is an investment in yourself to become better, to make you who you are. And as you change, not only will you change the people that are around you. You know why? People are people. People observe what you do. People hear what you say. When you start to change, people change. But it doesn't happen right away. So that's what I got today for reading books. If you bash on it, please don't bash. It's not, people hate. I don't know why people hate books. I guess people think, people say it's uncool to read books, but I think it's cool to read books. I was the type of guy who was loud, kind of like obnoxious in school, running around walls to walls and buildings, and I jump around and yell because I want to be different from people. I don't want to fit in. I want to be the type of guy who people remember, as the funny guy or whatever, So that's it for about reading. Reading is good. Reading make you aware of a thing that a lot of people aren't aware. If you want to become different yourself, read. Or matter of fact, you don't have to read if you don't like reading. You can listen to audio or watch YouTube video, since there's free courses online now, that you can take. Look, I'd rather you know something, not know, and you fall behind with a world that's rapidly changing, And it's if you can't keep up with the knowledge, you may have the knowledge now in your head, but you may say you know it, but are you using it? So that's it for today. Subscribe to my channel, like my video. I'll see you next time. Bye.